morning, everybody. Welcome to today's TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube Live. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all good. It is Thursday, the 16th of January. We are past the halfway mark. We are past the halfway mark of January. The longest month in the world is we've broken the back of it. A good couple of weeks, and we will be facing February. I've already little bit. Actually, yesterday didn't quite work like that because it was quite it was foggy last night. But maybe the other day I noticed that the nights were just, it was when it was sunny, it was light till about 4:30, 4:45. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, that's not where we want to be. But I just noticed, I was like, oh, it's a little bit lighter than it's a little bit, maybe it was Tuesday, maybe it was last night, I can't remember. I was like, oh, you can just notice a little bit that the nights were just creeping out a little bit. That is where we want to be, isn't it? Right. As always, guys, this is a Weight Loss Live. If you've got any weight loss questions, please get them in and I will do my very best to answer them. Top 5 on TikTok. Faye's in at number 1. Sheila's in at number 2. We've got Janine in at number 3. Tony's in at number 4 and Helen is in at number 5. Good morning, guys. Hope you all all good and thank you very much for jumping straight to the live, coming and saying hello. Paula, I've seen your message. The last one, I will send you the link. The link's in my link tree anyway, but I'll send you the link out for what you asked for before. Paula was asking if I could send her the link to get a protein box for February. Yes, you can pre-order February's protein box. It will be out 2 weeks on Saturday. So if you missed your protein boxes, I don't do them in January. They will be out in a couple of weeks. So go and get. If you don't subscribe already, go and pre-order February's protein box, and it will be in the post here in a couple of weeks. Karen, good morning. Who else is in? Ryan, Songbirdie, morning. Faye, we have had 2 full days of sun here. It's been so nice. Yeah, it was lovely yesterday, and the sun is shining today. It is so, and I think it's meant to be like this all weekend, hopefully. Jones in, good morning. Paul, I've already been out for a dog walk this morning and got a decent amount of steps in. We love that. I've just got back from the gym. Shirley, good morning. Paula, finally my back is getting better. That's great to hear. Lovely to hear. Karen H, good morning. I also had a sneaky peek as if I'm out for lunch today. I didn't want it to impact tomorrow's check-in. Okay, so you've had a little wait. And do you know what? There's nothing wrong with doing that. My clients check in every 2 weeks and it's always on a Friday. But if you're out for lunch today or you've got a little bit of food freedom on a Thursday and you're like, do you know what, I'm going to do my weigh in today, do it. Send it over. That's absolutely fine. No worries at all. Jen, morning. Just got back from 2.5 mile walk in 44 minutes. Love that, Jen. That's a proper nice little trend in 44 minutes. And if you're doing 2.5 miles in 44 minutes, you'll have boxed off 6,000 steps maybe already. Just the rest of the day pottering about. You have a great step amount for the rest of the day. Kelly C's in. Rach is in. Good morning. We all got from the house. Someone asked me yesterday, said, have you got asthma? I was like, no. I said, I am breathing quite heavily. And I said last night I've had a bit of a tight chest. So when I say a tight chest, I don't mean like I've had chest pains, right? I mean, like I can just feel like I've possibly got a little bit, a little bit of something coming on. Anyway, I've woken up this morning and I've got a cold. Nothing major, just a little bit of a sniffle. But I knew I had something coming on. But there's loads going around at the moment. Anyway, I hope you feel better, Tony. Get some hydration down. What is it? Hydration chicken soup, toast. You know, priorities, getting better. When you're better, we'll get your weight loss back on track. Joe, good morning, mate. Right, let me scan up and see what we're doing. Are you going to redo a Zoom after your power went out? I'm not, John. I've had to cancel it for the week because the power is just on and off. It could go off on this. So I'm doing that. Obviously, at night time, it's all good. But no, the Zooms will be back next week. I've cancelled the weight loss coaching live this morning as well because the power keeps it. They keep tripping it a little bit and then putting it back on. So obviously TikTok is not affected because it's through my phone. And if my Wi-Fi goes down, it'll just go onto mobile data. It's not an issue at all. You guys that are watching on Facebook or YouTube, if the live just goes blank, it's because the power's been cut because I've got a lot of work going on in the house at the moment. They should be done tomorrow, fingers crossed. At night time, the Zooms nothing, the power isn't affected. But no, I've just cancelled like all set lives that I have to do on the computer, or that I do on the computer basically. for this week, and they will be back next week. Everything will be back to normal next week. So I did apologise in the group yesterday. I'm sorry that I always feel like I'm letting you guys down when everything's not quite as it should be, but it will be worth it in the end, because when I get my new sort of office stroke PT studio up and running, there'll be no issues, no distractions. So no, the Zoom from yesterday, and unfortunately, because it's saved to the computer, the Zoom yesterday cut out halfway through, unfortunately. I think I cut out after about 4, I think we did 40 minutes. I managed to get a few good bits and pieces covered, but no, the Zooms will be back next week, 8 p.m. We'll be back with the Zoom next week, and 2 weight loss coaching lives next week. So the weight loss coaching live I should be doing today. Like I say, I could risk it. I could jump on now and do the live, but again, if it cuts out halfway through, it's going to get deleted. I don't know when the power. It was off yesterday for half an hour, and it's probably going to go off again today, because they're putting the internal roofing today, and then they've got to feed all the electrics back in. So, and I don't know when they're doing that. So it's just not worth getting cut off halfway through. So it will be tomorrow. No, next week. Everything will be back up and running. Like I say, everything will be back up and running next week. So yeah, apologies for that, but it's just circumstance this week. But like I say, it's because I'm having work done around the house. Are you going to do YouTube exercise sessions from your new studio? No, it's not a PT studio. It's an office. It's an office. And when I say it's a content studio, so it's basically like this, but looks a lot more professional because it's not got all my junk in it. So it's just going to be an office. It's not a PT studio. No, the PT studio is been demolished. That's gone. Right, it's just basically a new office. And when I say content studio, it's basically I'm going to have it probably soundproofed, and it's just going to be like a recording studio. Basically, how I'm probably going to have it set up a little bit, one section of it. So no, it's not going to be doing exercises. It's not something I really do. But if you want exercises, there's a million of them on YouTube. Yeah, they're only available if you buy my workouts. But if you buy my workouts, there's lots of little videos on my YouTube channel that are linked to the workouts that I have on there. So there are lots of different exercises on there for you guys to follow. And workout number, I'm going to do a couple of new workouts actually and put them on. I'm going to do like a compound, an upper body, a lower body compound movements, and more isolation movements. And likewise, if you want a home workout 4 and 5 are suitable. Can be done at home if you want to do some workouts. Good morning, all. Good morning, Maureen. How are you? Well, Pete's in. Good morning, mate. Morning. It's Haley from the group. New TikTok. Right. Thank you, Haley. If I might forget, please remind me. Morning to Kirsty, by the way, on YouTube. And Leslie's just coming on YouTube as well. So, hi, Neil. I've lost a fabulous 8 pounds in 3 weeks following you. Brilliant, Leslie. Good to hear. We like to hear of nice weight loss success, certainly after Christmas. Great to hear. Remember, 8 pounds in 3 weeks is fantastic, but we do get a bit of a whoosh after Christmas, so that will slow down. And why I want to say that is never get demoralized if you lose a big amount of weight at the start of your journey, the first 2-3 weeks, which 8 pounds is, and then that slows down to £1, maybe £2 a week, after that. That is fat loss. That is how it should be. Yeah. So you've just had a little bit of a whoosh effect. Hi, mate. Been a week on deficit and no loss. Am I doing something wrong and need more patience? Look, we can't look at the success of a journey in a week. And I know it's one of those things. It's kind of like what they say, a watched kettle never boils. Now, like I've just said there, if you weigh yourself at the start of your journey, and even after, and you've gone into this journey after a period of overindulgence, which most of us have after Christmas, we do get what we call a whoosh effect, because when we go on a diet and we're being more controlled with A, the amount of calories we are consuming, and B, probably more controlled with the types of food we are consuming, that will lower your water weight, your food weight, and your excess water retention. All three of those things will come down alongside losing some body fat, right? Alongside losing some body fat. And that's where the whoosh effect comes in. Now, not everyone gets a whoosh effect at the start of their journey. If you go from doing let's say you were doing Slimming World for a month, and for whatever reason, you then jump into calorie counting, right? You're going from one weight loss journey into another, no period of overindulgence in between. you probably won't really see much of a whoosh effect. But if you've started, we should see one. Now, do I have it where sometimes I get clients and they'll check in with me after 2 weeks and they'll lose £1, right? That's it, or £0.5, right? And then the next check-in after 2 weeks, they lose 5 or 6. I do get the odd one that do that. And it can just be for whatever reason. Now, if you've been on it for a week and you've been in a deficit and you've not seen a loss, generally what happens is when you've done your start weight, you've just caught the scales at the wrong time. That, and what I mean, and we can catch the scales at the wrong time. We can catch the scales when there is, if you, the day before you weigh, for whatever reason, you might have had a bit more salt, a few more refined carbs, might be a couple of days, you might just be naturally dehydrated. So your current weight that you are showing isn't naturally an accurate reflection of what your weight is. It could be 2 or 3 pounds heavier. And then over a week, you lose that 2 or 3 pounds, right? So you don't see a loss. So that could be a reason for it. And weighing every day, maybe that's what's driving me insane. Yeah, stop weighing every day. Now, if you are going to weigh every day, now if it's driving you insane, that means you're emotionally attached to the scales. If you're emotionally attached to the scales, leave the scales alone. Weigh once every 2 weeks. When you weigh every day, you're going to see lots of daily fluctuations, right? And your daily fluctuations are created between the difference, nothing to do with fat loss, daily fluctuations, right? If you're in a 500 calorie a day deficit, that will equal £1 a week on average. And weight loss isn't quite linear, but that'll be £1 a week on average, right? If you divide £1 by 7, if weight loss was equal every single day, you would lose 0.14 a day. So if you're weighing every day to see fat loss, you're only ever going to see 0.14 a day. That's it. That's all you're ever going to see, right? Is 0.14, and then day 2, 0.28. If you're going to weigh daily, you're going to see daily fluctuations. And your daily fluctuations are basically the difference between what goes in here and what comes out the other end. So let's say you weigh yourself on a Monday. So I weigh myself on a Monday and you weigh 200 pounds, right? If on Monday you consume 5 pounds of food and drink, and by going to the toilet, 1s and 2s, you lose 4 pounds, on Tuesday you're going to be £1 heavier. If on Tuesday you then consume 4 pounds of food and drink, but going to the toilet, you lose 6 pounds, on Wednesday you're going to be -2. You're actually going to be £1 under your 200 pounds that you started. So daily fluctuations are going to happen. Now, if you are going to weigh yourself daily, what you do is you add all your weight together, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You divide it by 7 and you take an average. And then you compare that to your start weight, right? But if you're emotionally attached to the scales and it's pissing you off, it puts you in a bad mood when the scales don't do what you want them to do, step away from them. Because the response, that emotional response of the scales annoying you, will affect your eating. Days where the scales do what they want to do and you're happy, you might eat a little bit more. Days where the scales are being naughty and not doing what you want to do, they're not being naughty. Oh, it's just daily fluctuations, but you feel they are. You might emotionally eat, you might overeat, right? Or, sorry, you might undereat. This is what I did. I went through a phase of weighing myself every day in 2016. Days where I saw a fluctuation gain, I didn't know it was a fluctuation gain. I just thought I was getting fatter and thinner all the time, right? But days where I saw a gain on the scales, I was starving myself that day. I was eating 1,500 calories, something like that. Days where I saw a loss, I was eating more. Now, over a week, it kind of evened itself out, but it was affecting my eating a lot. Likewise, as I just said there, it can have the opposite effect to some people. So you might get on the scales and see a loss, and it might motivate you on to really control your eating. So you drop down again. Likewise, you might get on the scales and see a gain. You're like, oh, what's the point? And you start kicking the floor and slapping your hands about, and that causes overeating. So if you're emotionally attached from the scale, step away from them. If you're being consistent with what you need to do on a weight loss journey, right? If you're not being consistent, this is pointless information. But if you are being consistent, you're on it, you're tracking your calories, you're being consistent, you're sticking to what you should be sticking to, and you weigh once every 2 weeks, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see the result you want to see, right? 9 times out of 10, you're going to see the result you want to see. You're always going to get the odd gain. You're always going to get the odd maintain. It happens. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to see the result you want to see. And that'll keep you positive on your journey. Once you create a healthy relationship with scales, weigh as many times. I can weigh every day. Doesn't affect me. Doesn't affect me whatsoever. I jump on the scales. It'll never affect my eating. My eating is my eating. And this, that, and the other. But until you've created that healthy relationship with scales, step away from them. Callum, good morning. Kasim Hussein. Sorry, don't know if it's a dumb question. Kasim, if you don't know the answer, mate, it's a great question. But if I poop more, will I lose more weight? Well, yeah, of course you do. Because your weight, right? And don't get me wrong, I don't want anyone to go, oh, right, well, because people do this. People start taking laxatives for weight loss, right? So weight loss is a loss of whatever makes up your weight, right? Guess what? I'm now lighter. What? I'm lighter. This weighs something, right? So if I got on the scales fully clothed like I am now, I'm lighter. I'm lighter again. Because this weighs something, right? That's weight loss. Now we have things inside our system, right, that we don't see. Yes, you have got food in your stomach. You have got digested food in your small intestine. You've got digested food moving into your large intestine. You've got feces in your bowel that is waste food, right? You've currently got water filtering through your kidneys. You've got water in your bladder building up, ready to go for a wee, right? You've got glycogen in your muscles. You've got water in your muscles. You've got water in your stomach, right? You've also got body fat, right? We've got lots of things in our body that will bring the scales down, right? And this is why we get all these fluctuations. Now, the only way you can consistently lose weight over periods of time, the only way you can see consistent drops on the scales is by consistently losing body fat. So daily fluctuations will happen all the time, but you'll never go from 250 to 240 to 230 to 220 to 210 because you're taking laxatives and pooing a lot. Right. Likewise, you'll never go from 250 to 240 to 230 to 220 to 210 if you're taking lots of diuretics, which is making you wee a lot. Right. It might give you an initial drop, but you're only going to have so much, feces in your system. Right. You're only going to have so much digested or undigested food in your system. You've only got so much water in your system. You want to bring your scales down 250, 240, 230, 220, 210. The only way to consistently do that is fat loss. And the only way we do that is by going into a calorie deficit. That's it, right? That is it, yeah? Would you recommend a fitness watch? Yeah, I absolutely love my Apple Watch. It's fantastic for one thing. Well, sorry. An Apple Watch is amazing for two things. It's got lots of different functions on it, right? But it is amazing for two things. Number one, tracking your steps, right? And any fitness tracker will do that. So it doesn't matter really if it's a 30 quid pedometer from Amazon or if it's a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or a Samsung, all very good at tracking your steps, right? And to be honest with you, all fitness trackers are good for this. Number two, amazing for accountability. And what I mean by that is you'll get to learn your watch. You'll get to understand the numbers on it. All right. So, for example, I've just been to the gym today. I don't know if I can get my workout up. I don't think I can. I don't think I can see it without going into my phone. And obviously, I'm on my phone. Anyway, I've been to the gym today and I've done a workout. Right. And I've trained with a mate of mine this morning. We've had a really good training session. And it was a tough training session. The calories burnt on a watch are inaccurate. They're always quite optimistic. They always tell you burn a lot more calories than you actually do. So if you're trying to eat, if you're like, oh, well, my watch says I burn, 3,000 calories in a day, so I'll eat 2,500 and you're not losing weight, that's because you don't use these for that. You use them for accountability. I don't see the calorie burn number as calories that I have burned. I see the calorie burn number as a bit of a target for when I'm training or moving or walking. And what I mean by that is when I go to the gym, I try and burn 10 calories per minute. That is my sort of target, right? And if I do that, I'm happy. So if I go to the gym for 45 minutes and my watch says I've burnt 450 calories, I haven't. But that means, but I know if my watch shows 10 calories per minute, I've had a good workout. Now, today I've done a 45 minutes pull session with my mate. I did 45 minutes and I think I burnt 540 calories. So I've had a great session today. Accountability. Likewise, if I go to the gym tomorrow and I do 45 minutes and my watch shows I've burnt 350 calories, I'm like, you've been a bit of a lazy git today, Neil. Use that as motivation to work harder tomorrow. So absolutely fantastic, and use it for accountability. Use it for accountability. And there's lots of fitness watches out there. There's lots of them out there. You can get a Fitbit, you can get a Samsung, you can get Garmin, you can get an Apple Watch. Get what suits you, right? They're all much of a. If you're going for like what I would class as more of a premium fitness watch, like an Apple Watch or Samsung, get what suits you. If you've got an Apple-based phone, I'd get an Apple Watch because it all links together, and these are absolutely brilliant. They're absolutely fantastic. If you've got an Android phone, I'd probably go for a Garmin, right? I've got a couple of mates that got Garmins, and they're decent, right? Really, really good. Really, especially if you're into like your outdoors. Garmins were built for, walking, hiking, outdoor tracking. So very, very good for stuff like that, right? Very, very good. But they're all much of it. It's all down to what you prefer. It's all down to what you prefer and what features you want. But if you're Apple, I'm Apple everything. I'm Apple, I'm iPad, I'm Mac, iPhone, Apple. I'm Apple everything. So I just do Apple, and they're absolutely fun. They're all fantastic. Okay, thank you. I'll definitely be getting one. So get what you want. Yeah. My watch says I'm burning 11 calories. 11? How does that work, Stefan? 11 calories a day? Well, that's not right. That's either new watch time, or if it is a new watch, go and take it and get it. I think, didn't you buy an Apple Watch over Christmas? If that's the case, because my watch says I've already burned 723 today. Now that's just active calories. The red ring on your Apple Watch is just active calories. It's when your heart rate goes above a certain amount, it registers as an active calorie. Then also add your resting calories towards that. But like I say, both are quite optimistic. Let me. Garmin Epix Pro, best watch and better than Apple Watch. I suppose that's all. It's all relative. They're both good watches. I don't know enough about saying what's better than others, but like I've had Apple Watch since 2017 when they first come out. I absolutely love it. I'm on a 7, I think. I tend to get a new one every 4 years. I'll probably get a new one next year. I've had a 2 or 3, but I only got the 3 because I broke my 2, and Apple just upgraded it for not a lot of money to a 3. And then I think this is a 7. They last ages. They last you a good few years, I'm actually taking water tablets, but it's for medical purposes. Yeah, absolutely. So you can get prescribed diuretics but you'll only generally get prescribed a diuretic if you're storing excess water. And they make you pee a lot. I've started weighing every 2 weeks, and I seem so much more positive than I used to be. Brilliant, Tony. Yeah, it really, really is. How many steps to aim for to help weight loss? Okay, so doing a specific amount of steps is never gonna, you shouldn't be doing your steps really for weight loss. Okay, the main reason why I want my clients to do a decent amount of steps is for their health, right? But if you do a decent amount of steps, you'll also have a decent calorie burn. And the more calories you burn on a day-to-day basis, the more calories you can consume and still be in a deficit to lose a pound a week, right? So all my clients roughly go into the same deficit. I do have clients in bigger deficits. I do have clients in smaller deficits, right? But all my clients are roughly in a 500 calorie a day deficit. On average, 3,500 calories over a week. And in fact, I've just done a calorie calculation for someone that's signed up to the community. And I've actually done 2 calorie calculations because a partner's on plan. So they're giving me a bit of extra support. So I don't mind putting it, even though they only pay a £5. And she currently does she's sedentary. So she said, could you give me a calorie calculation for being sedentary? And could you give me a calorie calculation for if I'm happy to up my steps, right? And get my steps moving. So I've done a 2. And her calorie calculation with her current sedentary movement is 1,650 a day, which is low, right? And if she adds 5,000 steps a day to her movement, which 5,000 steps is an extra 30, 40 minutes on average a day of walking, right? So that can just be, 20-minute walk here, 20-minute walk there, right? Her calories go up to 1,850. So it's another 200 a day. Now, 200 a day might not sound like a lot, it might not, but it's an extra 1,400 a week. And trust me, it is miles easier to stick to 1,850 a day on average than it is 1,650. At 1,650, if you want to bank some calories for the weekend, you're literally going to be on 1,500 a day, Monday to Friday, which is borderline the lowest I'd ever want anyone to eat in a day. You're then going to have 1,000 calories to take into the weekend, which means, you're going to have a couple of thousand Saturday, a couple of thousand Sunday. Now, for some of you guys that have been used to sticking to unhealthy calorie allowances, you might be like, well, that sounds great. That sounds really, really good. It's not. It's pretty low. Now, if she does an extra 30, 40 minutes of movement a day and goes up to 1,850, she can then eat 1,600 calories a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So an extra 100 a day, it's not a lot, but it's a bit extra. But she's going to bank 250 a day. That's then taking 1,250 in, right? So that means at the weekend, she could have one day at the weekend where she has 2,600, 2,700 calories, and then another day at the weekend where she does have over 2,000. And that is much more sustainable. Same fat loss, still losing a pound a week, right? Now, if she eats 1,650 a day and increases her steps and doesn't increase her calories alongside it, yes, she's going to go into a bigger deficit. But I don't recommend doing that, right? It's all about health and sustainability. Likewise, if that same client pushes it up to 10,000 steps a day on average and starts going to the gym twice a week, right, she could eat 2,000 calories a day, right? 1,750 Monday to Friday, and then she'll have, that 1,250, and then she can have 3,000 on a Saturday and 2,000. Same fat loss, but just a lot more sustainable, a lot easier to stick to. Not easy, but a lot easier. So I always recommend 10,000 steps a day on average. If you can physically do 10,000 steps a day, do 10,000 steps a day. Now, you will get people that love jumping on the bandwagon. It's just a marketing gimmick. It's just this, that, and the other. No one knows that it's a marketing gimmick. It's all a rumor, all right? So when the pedometer was created or was released in 1964, or a new pedometer, there might have been ones out before then, but basically it was the Tokyo Olympics in Japan in 1964. And alongside the Tokyo Olympics, obviously everyone's thinking about athletes and movement. Panasonic released a pedometer, and alongside their pedometer, they said, 10,000 steps a day is a good level of movement. And what better way to track your level of movement than buying our pedometer, right? This is the rumor. And the rumor is they picked 10,000 steps a day because the symbol for 10,000 in Japanese looks like a walking or a running man, right? It's all a rumor. It's never been confirmed. Anyway, irrelevant of that, I always think there's no smoke without fire. The people in Japan are very, very clever at inventing stuff. That's where a lot of our technology comes from, that side of the world. And I think there will have been a little bit of research into it as well. But since then, there has been a lot of research into it. And basically, the actual optimal number for the most benefit for the time that you are going to put in is 9,800 steps a day. If you do more than that, bonus. If you do less than that, fine. But if they look at, if we look at comparing the amount of time we're going to dedicate to doing movement to give you the most bang for your buck for your health, it's actually 9,800 steps. So if it was just a gimmick and a marketing ploy pulled out of thin air, right? Well, they've had a pretty damn good guess because the research shows now 9,800. And basically, like I say, if you do 15,000 steps a day, so the difference between doing 3,000 steps a day and doing 9,800 steps a day is you're adding years to your life and your health, right? Massive difference. So just those extra 6,000, 7,000 steps, massive difference. If you add 7,000 steps, you start doing 10,000 steps a day and you increase that up to 17,000. So another 7,000, it is going to be a benefit. It's going to be a bonus, but it's not going to give you as much health benefit as going 3 to 9, 8, right? It's going to give you more health benefit in terms, don't get me wrong, what I'm trying to say is doing 17,000, you're going to be healthier than doing 10,000, right? But the benefit, the extra 7,000 from 10 to 7, isn't going to be as big a jump as going from 3 to 10. Does that kind of make sense? Anyway, there it is. So if you can physically do it, do 10,000 steps a day on average. If you can physically do it, right? Now, if your excuse is I haven't got time, I don't want to hear that. We build it into your lifestyle. Whatever is going on in your life, we can build time. If you sit down with me and we did a time diary, I'd find the time for you to average 10,000 steps a day. It's then down to you to put that into plan, right? It might be the fact that you watch a bit less Netflix a week. It might be the fact that you have half an hour less in bed in the morning. I can find the time, right? Now, obviously, we do have people that have disabilities, that have mobility issues. So someone's 10,000 steps a day could be 4,000, right? There's a lad that goes to the gym. He goes to the gym 3 times a week training, and he's got cerebral palsy. And he walks in, he has a stick to walk in, and he walks into the gym. The gym's on the first floor at Ribby Hall. So he walks up the stairs, he walks round, and he does his training. That lad's body is working flipping hard for him to do movement. And if he does 5,000 steps a day, that is equivalent of me doing 10,000 steps a day. Because his body's, because of his disabilities, his body's having to work harder to get, because it's just not as, he can't move as freely, right? But, you know, it is what it is. So although I say if you can physically do it, 10,000 steps a day is optimal. Now, likewise, obviously we do have people with disabilities, with mobility issues. I've never met anyone yet that has disabilities, mobility issues where I've not been able to increase their step count, right? We get very much in our own comfort zone. And to move more, I was the same. When I was 37 stone and I started my weight loss journey, I was struggling to do 1,500 steps a day. I was absolutely knackered, and it took me ages to do them, right? And I just put down the fact that my obesity meant I couldn't move. My obesity, yes, put a lot of pressure on my body, which affected my movement. But actually, why I couldn't move was because I used the excuse of being obese to get lazier and lazier and lazier. And if I look back, I was morbidly obese at 20, right? I was nearly 30 stone at 20 years of age. I used to work behind a bar 40 hours a week. Fine, right? But then as time gone on, right? Yes, I got heavier. I went up to 37 stone over a period of time, but I did less physical jobs. I got lazier. I moved less. And if you don't use it, you lose it. So when I started moving more at the start of my weight loss journey, it flipping hurt and it knackered. And there were times where I went, I can't do this, right? But I still did it and I carried on. And eventually my 1,500 steps a day turned into 2,000, 2,500. Within 6 months, I could walk for half an hour without having to take a break, right? I could walk for half an hour without having to take a break. Within a few months of that, I could go on a cross trainer for 45 minutes without stopping. I used to do it on a regular basis. So, and I was still 30 stone. I was still a big lad, right? But the less you use your body, the weaker it becomes. The more you use your body, the stronger it becomes. And that is irrelevant to who you, that doesn't matter about anything to do with disabilities or mobility issues. If you are currently disabled and you use your body more, you get stronger, right? Like, that lad, bless him, cerebral palsy, comes to the gym 3 days a week and training, right? He is adding strength and power to his body. Does he train the way someone that has no, he does his training for him that's suitable for him for his current disabilities. But is he going to be a lot fitter, stronger and healthier and more able to walk than someone that has cerebral palsy that doesn't put the effort? Because there will be people out there go, I've got a disability, I'm not going to move at all. So we do have to be, and I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not. I don't want people to be like, well, it's all right for you. It's not all right for me. Now, I'm medicated. I've got rheumatoid and psoriatic arthritis, both knees, hips. My body is broken. I still average 11,000 steps a day and I still go to the gym 6-7 days a week to train because I love it. And me training that much makes me stronger and it keeps my arthritis at bay. Some days it flipping hurts, right? Some days it's better than others. but you've just got to grit your teeth and get at it sometimes, So if this is a silly question, there's no silly questions. There are no silly questions. If you fantastic question, when hitting a plateau, would there be a need for more exercise? You're only hitting a plateau because you're eating too much. That's it, right? And so if we plateau and maintain on our weight loss journey, we never look into it unless it's for 4 weeks or more. So let's say you lose on the scales and then you weigh and the scales don't, it's just a fluctuation, right? Let's say you weigh again and the scales don't move. No need to look into it, right? If you're weighing weekly. So if you go lose, and then you're weighing weekly, right? Plateau, maintain, whatever you want to call it. Plateau, maintain. Fourth week, I've had 4 in a row. It's because you're slipping. You were eating a certain amount of calories and you're not eating that amount anymore. Now, if your app shows you were eating the same amount of calories as you were 4 or 5 weeks ago, your accountability and your accuracy is slipping, right? Short periods maintain plateaus. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just crack on, right? Just crack on and your losses will be back. If you go 4 weeks or more, you need to look in. It's nothing to, if you're in a 500 calorie a day deficit, you'd have to lose 10 stone before that deficit went to 0 and your deficit calories became maintenance calories. 10 stone, right? Our calorie burn drops on average about 50 calories a day per stone that we lose. So if you start off at 20 stone, right, and you're in a 500 calorie a day deficit, you'd have to get to 10 stone before you weren't in a deficit anymore if your movement is exactly the same. Now, don't get me wrong. As your deficit decreases, your weight loss is going to slow down. So 500 calorie a day deficit, pound a week, right? When you're 2 stone down and you're in a 400 calorie a day deficit, you're going to go down to like 4/5 of a pound, right? If you lose another 2 stone and now you're in a 300 calorie a day deficit, you're going to be about 2/3 of a pound of fat loss. So it is going to slow down, and it might slow down to the point where, if you end up being in a 100 calorie a day deficit, that would be a pound a month instead of a pound a week. So it's going to really slow down. But if you're in a 500 calorie a day deficit, for you to see 0 fat loss for more than a month, you'd have to lose 10 stone, right? So I get so many people come to me and they tell me like, I've been eating 1,200 calories a day, right? And they tell me how much they weigh and how much they move. And I'm like, right, so you're in a 1,200 calorie a day deficit. You've lost 2 stone, so you're now still in an 1,100 calorie a day deficit. And you want your calories recalculating because you're not in a deficit anymore because you've lost 2 stone. Don't work like that. All right, it doesn't work like that. Is metabolic rate reset a real thing where you have a week of high calories to shock your body? No. Your metabolism is the amount of calories you burn on a day-to-day basis to survive. That's it, right? That is it, right? So that is heart function, brain function. Whacking a load more food into your system might increase your thermic effect because you're consuming more calories, so the body's going to work a little bit harder to break those calories down. But all this, shocking resetting your metabolism, your metabolism runs the same 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The only thing that really changes our metabolism is if we end up with an underactive or overactive thyroid. And we can end up with an underactive thyroid through malnourishment. You can end up with one of those through, if you're female, you're going through the metabolism. There's lots of different reasons. Overactive thyroid, there's not really, it's a hormone imbalance, but there's not really many reasons of why we get them. And they are quite rare. All right. Underactive thyroid's a lot more common. Overactive thyroid's quite rare. Right. But even with an underactive thyroid, so if you get metabolic adaptation, so your body, for whatever reason, decides to put your body into what we would call the safe mode. So it slows down your metabolism because you're not giving it the energy it needs and you haven't got the stored energy to make up the deficit. You might get something called metabolic adaptation. That's just where your body downregulates your metabolism a little bit. And it does that by stopping hair growth. It just stops giving energy to non-essential things. That's it. But yeah, all this, it's a bit like breakfast is the most important meal of the day because it boots up your metabolism. Your metabolism runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If it didn't, you would be dead. The only thing that stops it, and you can't reset a metabolism, it doesn't fluctuate massively. Again, you'd be dead. If If your metabolism drops to a certain point, you die. Right? So it's all a load of nonsense, you know. Right, let me scan up. Can stress stroke cortisol levels affect weight at all, or is that a myth? Yep, it's an absolute myth. Now, can high cortisol levels possibly affect fat metabolization? A little bit, but nothing that would ever show a massive decrease in fat loss, right? Same as a lot of people say, when we have alcohol in our system, we can't burn body fat. Nonsense. You burn fat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But we metabolize fat through the liver. We get rid of toxins through the liver. Alcohol is a toxin, and it will prioritize getting rid of alcohol than metabolizing fat. So if you drink alcohol, it can slow down fat loss. If you're in consistent calorie deficit and you drink alcohol, you're still going to see fat loss. And it might be that, you know, someone that's sober for a month, right? And he's in if someone's in the same size calorie deficit and someone's sober for a month and someone goes out and has 6 pints every Saturday night, but they're in the same calorie deficit, the person that's sober for a month might see half a pound fat loss more, right? Because, like I say, while the body's filtering out while the liver's filtering out the alcohol out of your system, it's not being as efficient metabolizing fat, which is what it needs to do when you go into a calorie deficit. All right. But the main issue with high stress cortisol levels is it triggers emotional eating, right? People that have high cortisol levels means, you know, depression, anxiety, stress, anger, fear, right? High cortisol levels triggers lots of different emotions, right? And if you're overweight, how do you soothe your emotions? How do you medicate lots of negative emotions? Food. So that's the main issue of having high cortisol levels is, right, if you've got high cortisol levels, you're not in a good place, right? And if you're consistently not in a good place, you're going to consistently be emotional eating. And when you're consistently emotional eating, you don't look for comfort and assurance in lettuce, you look for it in Ben and Jerry's. Yeah, so that's the main issues with that. Yeah. Right, let me stand down, see if I missed anything. Oh, I've missed a few. I keep debating a walking pad at home, Neil. Are they worth it? Just thinking I can stop and start and have my crutches. Yeah, maybe for someone like you, Lisa, they might be a good thing. The only thing I would say with a walking pad is there's no stability on them. So it depends how good you are, how good your balance is at walking. Because I always find my balance on a treadmill is shocking. I don't know why. I just don't really like walking on them. And I don't know if it's because of the constant speed. So if you have a proper treadmill, so if you're going to buy a walking pad, I'd invest in it's basically a treadmill where you've actually got something to hold on to, right? If you're someone that needs to walk with crutches or something like that, I'd recommend something that you can actually you can use for stability. That's a bit more stable. If you buy some of the cheaper walking pads, they're absolutely fine, right? And you can walk on them, not a problem at all. And if you're someone that, no, I can walk, yeah, I do use crutches, but I can actually walk for 10 minutes without them. It's just, if I'm on my feet for longer than that, I need them for support. Then that might be suitable, you know? But yeah, balance isn't great. Have looked at the handle. Yeah, I'd get one with a handle. Yeah, I get one with just for a little bit of stability. I mean, to be fair, with a walking pad, you're walking, so you could have your crutches with you, right? You can walk because they don't have any sides or anything. So while you're walking, you could use your crutches as support, or maybe just one crutch as support, just in case your balance is off a little bit. But yeah, certainly for someone with mobility issues, especially if you lack the confidence of walking outside, it can be a great option. Just don't let it become a clothes horse. Just make sure you use it if you're going to invest in one, you know. Right, let me scan up. I'm going very, 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 very shortly. I'm getting nervous. I'm going for lunch today with my mum and her friend, and I'm going to have to guess the calories. Send me a picture, Stephen. Anyone that's on plan with me, especially if you're just starting out on plan and you're trying to build up your ability for calorie counting and guesstimating, send me a picture of what you're eating and I'll guesstimate it for you. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. If you're going to a chain restaurant, might be different where you are in Ireland, but in the UK, chain restaurants, if they have more than 250 staff, they have to display the calories. So it makes it great for us that are calorie counting now. If you're going out for lunch to an independent pub, cafe, or something like that, restaurant, they're not going to display the calories. And if they do display the calories, from my experience, they're pretty rubbish, right? They're working out themselves. I'm like, yeah, I've been to so many pubs and it's like pie and chips is 2,200 calories. I'm like, what are you putting in that pie? And how much, are you just lathering pure butter over the chips when they're cooked? And I've ordered it. I've ordered it. I've gone, let's see this 2,200. And I've never mentioned anything to them. And I'm like, how's that 2,200 calories? Unless you're using Wagyu beef or you're literally, putting lumps of lard in the gravy. It's like, how's that 2,000? I've tracked calories so much. But any of you guys that are on plan with me, if you're going to an independent place, a client did it the other day. She got a mixed chicken. A client did it yesterday, and I had a client. So a client on Friday night, they just fancied a mixed chicken kebab from their local chippy, and it was shredded. It was chicken doner that was cut off a slab. So you're always going to get a mixture of thigh and skin and all sorts in that for flavour. That it's not that calorie conscious. And she sent me a picture of it, and I guesstimated it for her. Likewise, one of my clients yesterday, they like going to their local chippy, and they do a dish where it's like chippy chips, like chicken selects, southern fried chicken tenders chopped up on top. It looks sensational, by the way. Chippy chips, cheese, chopped up chicken tenders, mayonnaise, barbecue sauce. And they were just sort of like, they sent me a picture of it and said, what would I guesstimate the calories at for that? I said, I reckon it's 1,500. They guesstimated it at 1,266. Fine. They're not a million miles away. If you're only having that once every couple of weeks, even if you're having that once, I would recommend on a weight loss journey, if you're tracking calories, to try not to eat a meal more than once a week where you are having to guesstimate, right? You need to be a bit more accurate than that. Meal once a week, independent pub, out, getting that chicken and chips thing from a chippy. Stefan today going out for lunch with his mum. Once a week, guesstimation, fine. It's never going to distract you. You're never going to be more than a couple of calories out. And as you go along calorie counting, you'll get more and more accurate, even guesstimating. But yeah, mate, if you want to take a picture of it, right, and give me a little blurb of what it is, I'll do my best. And I'll say to you that I always want you to track it first. I want you to tell me what you would track that as, right? Guesstimate the calories, and then I'll do it myself, and we'll see where we come to. So don't panic about it, right? When you're going out for dinner with your mum, you should be looking forward to going out for dinner with your mum and having a catch up and putting the world to rights a little bit. You shouldn't be panicking about what you're eating and your calories, right? That's not how we do it, right? That's not healthy. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and guesstimate my calories this weekend. Absolutely not. And don't look at your bank account either, Karen. Those are my 2 tips. Don't guesstimate your calories. Don't look at your bank account. Just have an amazing time. Sort it out when you get home. Right? Tips of guesstimating calories when you're not sure. Yeah, sign up to my plan and I'll do it for you. That's it. No. So tips for guesstimating calories when you're not sure. Compare it to a brand equivalent. Dead easy. Right, so if you go to a small independent pub and you have pie and chips, right, go on to Beefeater, go on to Harvester, go on to all these chain pubs that there are, Stone and Grills or whatever there are around the UK. Pick one of them and be honest with yourself. Look at it. If you're having, if you go to a bar and grill, something like a bar, like a Beefeater pub, right? Is similar to like a Hollands pie or something like that. Pucker pie, 500 calories, right? Scoop or so with chips, 500 calories. Peas on the side, gravy, 100 calories, 1,100 calories, right? If you go onto a brand equivalent pub, so if you're using, so I can't show you because my computer's out of order, but anyway, because I'm streaming this through YouTube, I'll show you very, very quickly. If you use NutriCheck, right, this is NutriCheck. I know you can't see it very well because of the shine. Let me see if I can angle it. I can't really angle it, but anyway, if you go onto NutriCheck and you click the top 3 lines in your diary, right? I don't know if you can you see that? No, you can't. It's reversed anyway. But anyway, if you click the top 3 lines and you go down here, there is a section in your diary that is called Eating Out. And if you click on the Eating Out section, it has every chain in the UK on there. Every chain. So so if I go to the pub bar section, Beefeater Grill, he's got everything on there. So let me see. Like I just said about pie and chips, there they must have. I know it's a grill, so they might not have. But let me have a scan down. and see if I can find. You can actually search it. Let me just put pie in. Pie. Right. Beef and ale pie served with chips. Beefeater, right? And it is 1,128 calories. Just exactly what I said. 500 calories for your pie, 500 calories for your chips, 100 calories a piece. Right? Done. So, yeah, if you are going out to an independent pub, right? You're going out to an independent cafe, bar, don't matter what it is, use a brand equivalent. Go into a friend's house. Right, you go to your friend's house tonight and they're making lasagna and garlic bread. Right, just put it in as a Tesco speciality lasagna for one. Now, if you're guesstimating every meal you're having, right? Yeah, that's going to cause an issue for accuracies. Like I said there, if you make 1 or 2 meals a week at the most, excuse me, it's never going to cause a massive issue. Yeah. When you keep it still, you won't be able to see it anyway. If I get it still, you won't be able to see it because of the shine. But you know it. You all know. Anyone that's on plan with me in the community, you all know about the eating out. I talk about all the time the eating out section on NutraCheck. I know there's new guys coming all the time, but this is what the community's for. If you literally went into the WhatsApp Q&A group and said, "Hiya guys, I'm going to an independent pub tonight. How do I track my food?" not 20 people, but 2 or 3 people to use a brand equivalent, because it's my philosophy that I've used ever since I started calorie counting. It's something I talk about all the time. And that's the beauty of my community. There are people that have been in there a couple of weeks. There are people that have been in there 3 years, right? So the OGs that have been in there 2, 3, 2, even a year, they've got so much knowledge from me, they will pass it on to you. You want to come and join my community? It's £5 for your first month using code WELCOME. And it's an amazing space if you are trying to have a successful weight loss journey. It really, really is. I'll get logged back into my NutraCheck on my computer. And then when I'm just doing a TikTok live, because I use my computer for the Facebook and YouTube stream. So tomorrow I'll be logged in. So if anyone wants to ask me about eating out section on NutraCheck, ask me tomorrow. Tomorrow's TikTok live, it's just on TikTok, is at 11 a.m. And I can point my phone at my computer. My phone at the moment, if I point it at my computer, is, oh, look, it's me. Oh, yeah. Right? So there's no point pointing at my computer because I'm doing a dual stream. Right? So, but tomorrow I'll have my NutraCheck running and I'll go through the eating out section with you and I'll show you what I mean by that. Yeah? And there's everything in there. Yeah? How's the new office coming along? There's no real I mean, it looks like a building site at the moment. It's just one of them. They're hoping to be done by tomorrow. They said it could be Monday. So I don't know. At the moment, they're doing a new roof. So basically, to cut a long story short, I have my single garage converted at the back of my house. When we bought this house, the single garage, the guy previous was a semi-retired builder. He built a utility room onto the front of the old single garage and turned the old single garage into like his bit of a workshop. When COVID hit, we never went in that workshop. We had it as a bit of a dumping ground, really. When COVID hit, I cleared it all out and I just had a single garage, and that's where I was PTing clients because obviously gyms were shut down. Old Bozza said you could train with one person outside. So I was training people in my back garden or we're going into my garage to train. After doing that for a few months, I got a bounce back load and I extended it out into a PT studio. When I first started doing TikToks, all my lives were done in my PT studio, and I had it fully kitted out PT studio. From building my online business, I retired from personal training at the end of 2022. Why? Because I was making more money doing the online stuff than I was doing the personal training. And I'd done personal training for a few years, and it never triggered a spark in me, if that makes sense. I love doing it, but it never became my passion. And I'm a bit like that. I do flip from things because now I'm thinking about going back into personal training. I'll still do my online stuff mainly, but I might go and do another day. I might do a day or 2 a week back personal training, but obviously not in my studio because anyway, the guy that did my extension for the gym, he did the extension all right, but he got a right flipping muppet in to do the roof. So since it was built, the roof's leaked. It's just been crap. Anyway, I've saved up and yeah, that's what I'm having done now. So it's had brand new. It's had the old roof, even though it's only 4 years old. stripped off, brand new roof put on, which is what they're doing now. And then once they've put the brand new roof on and sealed all that in, and I think is it fiberglass, having a fiberglass roof or something like that, no idea. And then insulate it all, and then inside, because it's just basically like a garage inside singles, they're going to batten it all out, insulate it, and turn it into basically what will be an office. So yeah, it's good. It's costing a few quid, but I think it's definitely worth the investment. And hopefully, I'd love it. This would be my perfect thing. They're all done and dusted by Friday. The guy goes, "Yep, there you go, off you pop." And then Saturday, it'll be an afternoon painting, getting it all painted, getting it all set up. Sunday will be an afternoon of building furniture, desk, chair, all the other moving, and then might be in it next week. Might be. I don't know. Yeah, there's a chance I could be in there next week by Monday. Now, if it doesn't take that, I will definitely be in there a week on Monday. That is my plan. A week on Monday, definitely will be in there. And I'm going to set it up like a little recording studio for doing my podcast, for doing my content, doing all the lives with you guys. But yeah, it's going to be an office as well. So I can't wait. I can't wait for it all to be done. What are you planning to do with your current office / spare room? Okay, so this office here is going to become Rachel's book room. So Rachel, my wife, is a bit of a book geek, and she currently has an office across the way that is her book room and her office, and then she's going to she's going to move in here, I think, and have this as her book room / office, and then what is currently her office, we're going to turn it back into a bedroom because it used to be a bedroom. So we're just going to turn it back into a spare room, and that's it. So yeah, so it's kind of musical chairs at the moment, moving the house around a little bit, and yeah, so Rachel will keep this desk set up here that I've got here, and then she's just going to have bookshelves all the way around here for her books and stuff. So what are in there and move them into here. I think that's kind of like a mini library, as it were, I think. I hope we can have a new office tour once you're in. Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's not going to be a lot in there. There's going to be a desk, a chair, a two-seater settee, two-seater bed set, like like a sofa bed, because we have that in Rachel's office that pulls out if people stay over. Well, that, because we're going to turn that back into a proper bedroom, that can go in my office, which could also be a spare room for someone if we get like family or a lot of friends staying over. So it'll basically have a desk, a chair, a two-seater settee, and a dartboard. I want to set a dartboard. I want to start playing darts again. Not competitive. I used to play darts. I used to be really good at darts when I was 30 odd stone. I had a proper darter's physique. So yeah, I used to be pretty decent, and I do love a game of darts. Great way to get some steps in as well. So I'm going to set a dartboard up, and so yeah, it's going to be a darts room as well. Why the hell not? Do we ever get to meet Rachel? No, she's not really that, but she just doesn't. It's not her thing. She doesn't want to be on camera. She did do. If you watch my Worth of Calories video, she did review. She has popped up in one of the Worth of Calories videos. And if you watch my Tesco tour the other day, you might hear her voice. But no, it's not something that Rachel's ever been that bothered in getting into the online stuff. It's not her bag really. We heard her voice in Tesco. There you go. You've heard her voice in the Tesco video, but yeah, she's not really that bothered. We're watching so many hours a week and see a 6x4 visual of your home. Yeah, I know. Well, that's it. You see, that's the sort of thing. If you're watching now on the YouTube thing, you get all my traders behind me. You get me flipping, me juggling, but I can't be bothered. Right? You just get me. Do you know what I mean? But I am like, I feel like I've done this long enough now to have I need a proper, like what I would class as a proper office. It's not that as well. I've started doing quite a lot of podcasts and stuff like that. And with the podcasts, I'm not too bothered when I'm doing like the reviews or anything like that. But with the podcast, because they're something that people might listen to in the car, I want background noise to be an absolute minimum. It should just be me, because that's what a proper podcast is. So when I sit in here, me flipping boilers there, that can fire up. The dogs can be barking every time someone knocks on the front door and stuff. So it's just going to be a bit more of a kind of professional space. And also for me personally, I want it more like, it's something I kind of enjoyed when I did PT in there. I know it sounds daft because it is in my back garden, but it's kind of like that work-life break. Because like, I nip in here all the time. Even when I'm having a day off, I'll nip in here and do something. Whereas that'll feel more like, right, I'm going into the office to do some work, and then when I come in here, I can't do any work because I've got no equipment in here. So does that kind of make sense? It's just a bit better setup anyway. Morning, boss. Morning, Peter. I hope you're good. She wanted toothpaste. She did want toothpaste. Nothing to do with weight loss. We're having some toothpaste. Yeah, absolutely. Let me scan down. See if I missed anything. I don't think I have. I think I'm all up to date. If I have missed anything, guys, it's nothing personal. I just try and do as many questions or as many. I just try and get to as many comments as I can alongside my own ramblings. So I'm going to shoot off shortly. So I'm not on, guys, for the rest of today. Obviously, we should have been having a weight loss coaching live after this. I'm not going to risk it in case the power goes. Like I said, I know they're going to be feeding some electrics through. I don't know. I'm not disturbing them, but just my luck. I'll start up a weight loss coaching live and it'll cut off halfway through. So TikTok, that's it. I wasn't doing a TikTok tonight anyway because I did last night instead of tonight because I'm going to get on the sofa and watch the footy. And then tomorrow I'm on TikTok at 11 a.m. So just before lunchtime tomorrow, we'll do another TikTok. And then obviously sat in the car before my spin class on Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Last day, I can't believe it's Friday tomorrow. So so that's me, guys, until tomorrow. So have a lovely Thursday, whatever you are doing. We're getting to the business end. Getting to the business end of the week. So, seen a pic. She's pretty. Oh, it's very kind to say. But I'll tell her that. That'll make her day. So it's have a great Thursday, whatever you are doing, and just I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you don't follow me, make sure you follow me. And if you want help with your weight loss journey, before I go, TikTok profile, YouTube, any of my content. Join my one-to-one plan. I've still got my offer running till the end of January for the one-to-one plan. Or just come and join the community. £5 for your first month using code WELCOME. No contract, cancel any time, calorie breakdown, guide to bossing your weight loss, private Facebook group, WhatsApp community, Zoom sessions, weight loss coaching lives next week, not this week. It's just a great place for a £5 to come and have a look. And it's a great place for your weight loss journey. Anyway, have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. if you're free, just on TikTok. And you lovely people on Facebook and YouTube, if you just watch me on here, I'll be back, Facebook, YouTube, Monday morning, 8:30 a.m.